Hello guys, this is Jacko from MuddyTigerOutdoors, and today we're going to do episode number 13 of the Would I Buy It Again series. Again, we have 3 items today that I've been using, that I've been taking out and testing and have had for a while, so it's definitely time to make a decision if I would buy it again or not based on my impression and my experience. So the first item today is going to be the ESEE Fire Steel. And this is something that I've enjoyed. This is something that I wanted to get for a long time before I got it. It's, in my opinion, a very well designed multi-tool. If you're into fire making or primitive fire making, you can strike it against a flint and produce a spark so you can catch it and ignite it. You can also use it to scrape a ferro rod or ferrocerium rod and get some sparks that way. You can also use to as a bearing block for your bow drill, and that's the divot where your spindle will go into, so you can support it, put pressure, and get that bow drill action going. So it's definitely a multi-tool. It's very well made. It's high carbon steel. I think it's 1095, and I've definitely liked it since I got it. One of the advantages to having this is obviously, once again, a multi-tool, and you basically only need to have the knowledge on how to use this. You don't have to carry a whole lot of things aside from a flint, which you can find in a lot of places. You can carve a bow drill kit out of wood if you know how to do that. So having this definitely makes a lot of those jobs a lot easier and more, increases your chances for success out in the wilderness. Now the question is, would I buy it again? And the answer is no. As much as I like it, as much as I've enjoyed it, as much as I think it's a great thing, it's a little bit too pricey for what it is. I believe it's around $30. So to me, for what it is, yes, it's high carbon steel, but it's still a little bit too pricey. It's been out for a few years. There's a lot of people that use these. It's a great tool, but it's a little too pricey. Now, if the price of this was, let's say, $15, maybe $9, $9.99, something like that, that would make a lot more sense to me as far as purchasing another one of these. But because this is still a little bit of a pricey item for what it is, I would not buy it again. Now the second item is going to be the Bushcraft Essentials ultralight stove, and this is a wood burning stove. It's very compact, very light, very small. You can do a lot of things with it. I've cooked, I've boiled water, and it does the trick. It does what it's designed to do. So it's a very well crafted device, and it serves the purpose again very well. It comes with a few extras, or a few optional extras, like this little carrying pouch made out of Cordura. So it's basically, or essentially, a pocket stove. I mean, you can put this in your pocket in a small bag, or carry it around the car as a survival item, and it's a very well designed burner. I mean, it does the trick. It comes apart super light. And I've enjoyed it. Once again, I've definitely enjoyed using this. Now the question is, would I buy this again? The answer is yes and no. And the reason is, I don't think I would buy this specific model, or this specific size. I would definitely buy the bigger one of the Bushcraft Essentials. They have a slightly bigger one, and of course an XL or extra large. I would definitely, without a doubt, buy one of the bigger ones so I can burn a little bit more wood and not having to constantly feeding this. As you can tell, the chamber, or the place where you put your wood, it's quite small, so you have to feed or constantly feed wood into the flame so you can keep a sufficient heat to cook your things or to boil your water. It does a trick. I'm not saying it doesn't work. It's just a little bit too small, and you have to constantly paying attention to it. So I would definitely buy one of the bigger ones. And while we're speaking of stoves or burners, item number 3 is going to be the classical long time been in the market, Trangia burner, or Trangia style burner. This is the actual Trangia brand, but there's a lot of makers out there that make exactly the same thing. And I decided to get the original just because you know, it's a part of history. It's very traditional, and it works. I mean, it's a very high quality item as well. I've really enjoyed using this. It does the trick just like it's supposed to, and you know, it's a very well crafted, very classical design. One of the points is that obviously, like many of the other stoves, you have to carry your fuel, and you have to know which fuel works in your area. Not every alcohol works, you know, at every temperature, and a lot of things evaporate a lot quicker. Some of the fuel doesn't last as long, or doesn't give you as much of a burning time. There's a lot of science behind one of these alcohol burners, and I've just been using just plain rubbing alcohol, and I know that's not one of the most recommended fuels for this type of stove, but it's been working with it. I know there's a lot of alternatives out there. I need to do a little bit more research as far as what works best with this in my area, with the altitude, with the temperature, and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, as far as the design goes, it definitely works. Now, it's kind of tricky to get this started. A lot of times, if you don't know how to do it, you have to kind of hold you know, your flame right over the evaporation, or right where the alcohol is evaporating, because that's the thing that ignites. You don't ignite the fuel or the liquid fuel. You ignite the fumes. So it just has taken me a little bit to kind of get used to it and see how it works, but it definitely works. Now the question is, would I buy it again? And the answer is no. I would not buy this again. You know, one is enough, and if this was to be lost, misplaced, or gifted, I don't think I would buy another one again. The reason is I'm not big into alcohol burning stoves or burners. You know, I don't feel very comfortable carrying a little bit of fuel in my pack or my backpack. I always get the sensation that it's gonna spill somehow, even though you know, I've used a really tight container. Sometimes I just still get the feeling that it's just gonna spill, and it's gonna get in a lot of places. Which of course it's never happened to me, but it's a possibility. And also the flame, once again, it's very finicky to get it ignited, at least in my opinion. I've tried to ignite it with a ferrocerium rod or with a spark, and it hasn't quite worked for me. And I know that's probably because of the type of fuel that I'm using. I maybe need to try another type of fuel, but as far as today, as far as the way I feel about this, great product, great design, great little burner, but I would not buy it again. Well guys, if you're not familiar with the Would I Buy It Again series, this is the first video that you've been watching, or that you've watched of this series. There are 12 other videos, and in every video we have 3 items which I've used, I've taken out, I've tested, and I give you basically my impression, a very quick recap, and if I would buy it again or not, if I would spend my money on the specific item again or not. And it's very simple, and of course, you know, take it with a grain of salt, take it for what it's worth. It is just my opinion, my personal experience with the product. Like always guys, don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe. Please check us out on Facebook, Muddy Tiger Outdoors. We'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.